Next is general fund. Is there a motion to approve the general fund?
I have an amended list that I would like to pay on the general fund.
Okay, well make sure you name what you don't want to pay.
You know, I'm going to name the numbers and I'll send it to the clerk.
That's not how that goes. You got to put it in
how it
record.
goes.
It's not.
When I make the motion to pay all the bills excluding those numbers I mentioned, and I'll get the clerk an email of what I excluded.
So what they need to do is tell y'all what they're taking away. And Robert Hunt, you ready to read into record what she
It's
said?
exactly the same thing Robert read last time.
It don't matter. He's going to read it again because you should have read it because you the one took it out. So Robert,
You can read it because you have
go
the
ahead.
same
Are
information
you out
as
of
what
order,
you
trustee?
wrote.
You out of order. Come on, Robert. Let's read. Read what they're taking out. All right, go ahead, Robert. Go ahead, Robert.
Hi you guys, welcome back. And once again, Tiffany Henyard is out of order, but she's calling someone else out of order. But as we can also see, she's once again bossing Robert Hunt around, and she's telling him, boy, get up there, read them numbers. Well, she didn't exactly say that, but she might as well because of her tone. And this brings me to my latest creation. I was so inspired by this clip. Okay, you guys, seeing Robert up there reading his little heart out just really inspired me. So I went ahead and made a song. It's a little inspired though from a song that already exists. Just like Tiffany, you know, she gets inspired and makes things like good burger restaurants.
Hi Shark, I'm Tiffany Henyard from Chicago, Illinois. I am currently the owner of Tiffany's Good Burger and Soul Food located at 634 Burnham in Calumet City, Illinois. Just go to our website, loveagoodburger.com. Again, that is loveagoodburger.com.
But I digress. Let's go ahead and start. Taxes high in the sky, and she'll make him twice as high. Take a look, he's like he's reading a book, a reading Robert. She has no cares, and no friends, you know. She doesn't grow, it's reading Robert. She will spend anything except her own dough, but she'll spend yours, you know. It's reading Robert. Oh my goodness, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. And for all you guys that remember that came from my generation, I'm sure you know the show I'm talking about. And I think you will agree that Tiffany could have benefited from watching those type of shows, right? Right. You know, shows that taught you how to make friends and be nice to people. Just, you know, all the nice good things that you want to try to teach your child. A lot of fundamental morals and qualities that Tiffany seems to be lacking. All right, let's go ahead and move on, you guys, because we're picking back up on this Thornton Township Board meeting. And of course, we're going to skip past reading Robert. And let's go ahead and get into this next clip, and then I'll chime back in.
All right, thank you. And that's the reason why I told him to read it, just so you can see what I'm saying and why I argue and go back and forth with my board, because how can you go backwards off of something that's already spent? So all those things are already spent, already approved when everybody was cool. Now all of a sudden it's not cool to pay the bills. Make it make sense, guys.
Spent, not approved. And also, if I can make a point, there's things that we have voted not to approve, and then somehow magically they end up on the credit card.
You have to point that out.
That's one of the reasons we're doing this.
That out, because you can easily say
exactly
that.
why we're
that's
doing
not
this.
true. Then point it out. I want to see it. Point it out. Because you can say that, but you need to point out what you're saying you did not approve, and it's on the statement. Thank you. And it's sad that you guys sitting here saying, no, it was senior events on there. It was the book bags we gave away to the kids. It was all kinds of things on there that you guys still said no to now, but yes, correct, back then. So what's the difference? Now all of a sudden everybody else said you want to pay people?
Voted no, and then they end up on a credit card bill.
That's not true. So what's the item? Tell me the items. You ain't got it.
I'll make the list. I'll get it to you.
Right, because you ain't got it. You just be talking. Y'all just say stuff up here. I can't stand it. I can't stand a liar. Anyway, moving on.
So picking up from my last video, they were talking about the approval of the Gospel Fest, which was actually canceled due to a storm. So she's trying to say you can't go back and approve stuff that's already been paid. But how could it have been paid if it was canceled? The event didn't happen. So they can still cancel it. And when she addresses Trustee Gonzalez and she says, show me the proof, show me the evidence. Okay, for one, she's the last person that needs to be saying that to someone because she never has proof of anything. She never has receipts. The child invented a whole podcast, did a couple of episodes, and didn't present not an receipt. Okay. But yeah, she's not the one to be trying to tell people to get the receipts. But all we have to do is look back on some of the past Thornton Township Board meetings, and we can see that Trustee Gonzalez has always been the odd man out, meaning he was voting against some of these things in the beginning when Trustee Carmen was still on Tiffany's side. So she really can't say that. And of course, he's not going to bring every single paper, every agenda, every minute to the board meeting to back up his claim. So the reason why Tiffany is becoming more combative than ever, I know you didn't think it was possible, but believe me, it's going to get worse before it gets better with her. She's going to become more combative and erratic as time goes on and more people begin to flip on her. All right, you guys, let's move on.
When they sit here and say, well, we want to remove this, we don't want to pay that. We already gave you our word when you came here and saw us, and we said we're going to pay your light bill. Then they'll get up here and say, well, we ain't voting to pay nothing. They did that before, and guess what I did? Still pay it. Because at the end of the day, that is solely the supervisor. I pay anything in GA. Like, stop. But we get up here and do this show because it's political theater for you guys. Okay? All right, go ahead. Say what you're going to say. Let's vote.
All right, excluding, I make a motion to pay the bills except the following items, 1, 14, and 43.
All right, Barbara, what is the items? Since she don't want to read it to the record, what's the items, Carmen? What's the items? It's 3 items. You could have just read them. Say it. All right, what's they want to not pay, Robert? Let's talk to the people.
All right, number 1, PowerWorks LLC, $8,745, tax refund software. Number 14, citation box and paper, $17,400, holiday boxes. 43, PowerWorks LLC, $9,100, software for tax refund.
So now y'all don't want to give the refund to the residents. I got a tax refund for getting y'all tax money back. That's under the GA department. Again, y'all ain't clap for that none, but that's what she just took out.
All right. Thank you, Reading Robert. But you guys, there she is, smoke and mirrors again. She's trying to make it seem like they're taking away the residents' tax refund, when really he read off the software that handles the tax refund. And it's probably because the trustees haven't gotten information on this particular software company. Let's go ahead and listen a little bit more.
So when you want some of your money back, they want to stop the software to give you your money back. Make it make sense. But okay, we'll play the game. Let's go.
I have something to say. One, the first item I mentioned was paid on a credit card, and it was a part of the tax rebate. So the residents do deserve a tax rebate, but more importantly, we need to figure out our budget. We have to fix the deficiencies that we have. And yes, the budget is late, and so our goal is not to rush it, but to get it right. And we want to make sure that the entitlement programs that are functioning at the township are functioning at the highest.
So here we go. That is the reason why they're not passing it for that software for the tax rebate. For one, they don't even have the budget done. So how Tiffany going to promise that people get taxes back before they even have a budget in place? And this is a prime example of Tiffany once again trying to use the money to get into the favor of the people so she can buy votes, in my opinion, because once again, election time is coming up. So she's grasping at straws and trying to find every little single thing that she can do to get the residents to vote for her. For the first time, I'm going to say, because she was not voted into the supervisor position. All right. She was appointed to this position by Trustee Gonzalez of all people, you guys. And I do have a previous video on that. If you guys want to know a little bit more about how that went down, go ahead and check that out. But let's go ahead and get back to this meeting.
Are you done? No. Okay. We want to make sure that our entitlement programs are functioning at the highest capacity so that we can serve everybody in the township that needs the services. And more than that, I think we need a more moral and ethically, we need an obligation to the residents to be transparent and accountable. And if we focus on transparency and accountability and less on bingo, excuse me, can you call her? She's out of order. Oh, that's your friend, so she can be out of order? That's your friend, so she can be out of order?
So yeah, you guys, this is what it's like to deal with a narcissistic hypocrite. While Carmen is trying to read and she's trying to speak, we have hecklers in the crowd, but Tiffany, you know, she's usually like, okay, you guys, respect, quiet down, guys, you're out of order. But now, since it's someone that's a supporter of her, she's just letting them go rampant. All right, let's watch.
That's your friend.
Settle down. Settle down. Settle down.
Right. Her people. She only wants order when it's not exactly. Can you call the meeting so you tell your people to calm down? Like you always tell everybody else? Okay. So anyways, like I was saying, more than I think we need to, it's crazy. Maybe if we focus on accountability and transparency and less on bingo, then we'll have enough money to set aside to give the rebate program so that everyone in Thornton Township can benefit from the program and from the services at Thornton Township and not just people to show up to bingo. And so that's our goal.
So yes, I agree with what Trustee Carmen is saying. While I feel like there's nothing wrong with them having bingo events, the exorbitant amount of money being spent on these events is just ludicrous. And on top of that, the residents don't even really know how much is actually being spent on these events. We can see Tiffany herself admit that they've been giving away washer, dryers, refrigerators, freezers. Like, that's crazy. Those are crazy prizes. All right. You win those on like The Price is Right or something. And then on top of that, you can only win those prizes if you attend Big Bingo, which, let's just face it, it's essentially campaigning for Tiffany. Free campaigning using the taxpayer dollars. In my opinion, that's how I see it. And I think a lot of other people see it like that. And while she says, oh, it's their money, it's going back to them, it's their money you're using for them to vote for you. Well, you guys, I think we've beat this bingo horse to death. We are going to move on. So you guys, this next clip has to do with a subject that has been brought up before, even over in Dolton. And it has to do with Tiffany putting her name and image basically everywhere. Let's go ahead and watch, and then I'll chime back in.
For the holiday boxes, it's not that we don't want the holiday boxes to not be printed, but again, we have an image ordinance that has not been in compliance. There are different departments that are still printing things with against the policy. Supervisor Henyard's name is on a lot of things, and she knows that's against the image ordinance. And so I did reach out to them, asking them, can we see what would be printed? No one ever responded to me. If they did, I mean, at a later date, I didn't get it. But again, we just have to make sure that the things that we put in order, the laws that we put in place are being followed.
As it relates to image, this is what I mean about my board. There's a lot of hate, jealousy, and envy amongst them towards their supervisor that came and turned over the numbers here in Thornton Township. But let me remind you, here in Thornton Township, Frank Zuccarelli had this seat for 30 years, 29 to be exact. His name was on everything. You guys know, whoever the leader is, your name goes in place of their name. If you're the mayor, the supervisor, your name is the one that everyone sees for that town or city. So that's what I mean about hate and jealousy. Because nobody cared before when it was Frank. Did y'all make any noise? Did y'all say let's remove this person's name? Y'all made a fake ordinance to make it like y'all fake in charge. Y'all are not in charge of anything. So please stop with the antics when we come here to these board meetings.
So let's talk about this image ordinance that Carmen brought up. If you have been following the Dolton drama and now the Thornton Township drama, you may have already heard about Tiffany's lavish spending on billboards, calendars, rugs, you name it, from the news.
Okay, so if you've driven one of the expressways in the south suburbs recently, you've no doubt seen one of these giant billboards. They feature the name and the face of a smiling local politician. The money for these billboards is coming out of taxpayers' pockets, and that's raising questions for Tiffany Henyard, the Dolton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, who has already come under fire for spending public money promoting herself.
Take a drive to the south suburbs and you can't miss them. 4 giant billboards featuring Tiffany Henyard's name in large letters, along with her picture, smiling down on the thousands of cars going by on Interstate 57 and the Bishop Ford Expressway. What are they advertising? One says fresh produce, another senior services, and this one simply says we offer general assistance.
The township should not have paid for these if they did, and I'm sure they did.
And you can't turn your head in Dolton or Thornton Township without seeing Henyard's picture or name, where we found a Tiffany Henyard 2024 calendar featuring all the important dates to remember, including her birthday.
I would be having a fit if she was my client, telling her not to do this. I actually had a candidate years ago who was running for mayor of Dolton, and that's what we did. We bought billboards along the expressway, because if you're coming and going home all day, and one of the things I always say about billboards is they're working when you're asleep.
Just when you think you've seen it all, take a look at this. When the first billboard went up last summer, Thornton was misspelled as Thornton. Another sign had to be ordered, apparently at taxpayer expense.
And yes, it hit news because, like I've stated before previously, even though something was done before, once Tiffany gets her hands into that same thing, she does it to the 1000th degree, okay? And yes, the former supervisor, Frank Zuccarelli, did have his name on things, but it was never to the extent that Tiffany has taken it. In fact, at one of the previous Thornton Township meetings, a resident named Paul Roberts even pointed out the ridiculous increase in the township's photography and PR budget. And so he said the township budgeted for $3,800 for photography in 2023, but Tiffany and her team ended up spending $178,000, and that's $174,200 more than what was budgeted for. He also said the 2024 proposed budget for photography is now $287,000. That's $283,200 more than what was budgeted for 2023, and $109,000 more than what she ended up spending in 2023. So you guys get the point. She is not shy about spending taxpayer money on her image. Now I'm going to give you another example of why, once again, they have to kind of tweak an ordinance to make it Tiffany safe. Now, what I'm displaying here is just a side-by-side comparison of Tiffany Henyard's version of Taste of Thornton Township compared to the old supervisor, Frank Zuccarelli. And what we're seeing are the stations that pertain to what Thornton Township has to offer. As we can see, there are multiple canopies and tables with her name plastered all over them. So while the canopies and tables do have the entity that they're advertising on them, Tiffany's name is the largest lettering. Look at that. It's just ridiculous. Okay. She also had large banners of herself made over there in Dolton using taxpayer money. So I feel it's safe to say that Carmen didn't bring up the image ordinance out of jealousy or envy, but rather to bring attention to the alarming amount of taxpayer money being spent to essentially make campaign material for Tiffany. That's at least my opinion. She is really in love with her own image, you guys. You know, it's okay to be confident and look the way you want to look, but do it on your own dime, okay? You know, pay for your own stylist, pay for your own printing for all these calendars and magazines that she's having the township pay for. That's what she should be doing. If she's going to have her face and name plastered on every single thing like that, then go ahead and pay for it out of your own pocket, because it's more than obvious that it's campaigning material. Okay, at least in my opinion. Another thing I noticed, the difference between Tiffany Henyard's Taste of Thornton Township and the former supervisor Frank Zuccarelli's, is that Tiffany's was not as packed, for one, and that could be largely due to Frank being in office for so long and he built so many allies and he had so many connections. You know, I'm aware of that. I see that part. But then I do feel another part is Tiffany's negative energy. She's always pushing all that negativity out into the universe because she's jumping online every chance she gets whenever she has these events. She's not being positive. She's not talking about, hey, you know, you guys come on down, come take advantage of this event. We have blah, blah, blah. Instead, she's using that time online and her platforms to diss the trustees and brag about all the things she's doing. And to throw out cliche slogans like, they new to this, I'm true to this, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, all those little things she likes to throw out. No one cares about that. Matter of fact, it's really distasteful to act in that manner when you're calling yourself a leader. As a leader, you should be leading by example and pushing positivity. Because I can say this with almost certainty, that most great leaders never or rarely had to stoop to the level of their haters. If they were truly doing things right and staying focused on the people rather than themselves. Now, I'm sure the former supervisor had some people who didn't agree with the way he ran things, but I really couldn't find any footage of him constantly clapping back at people, okay? In fact, I found footage of him at events, and at those events, the other members of the government were also there, supporting him and supporting the community. But in Tiffany's case, she's created such a hostile environment in both Dolton and in Thornton Township that she stands alone at her events, with none of the other government employees or trustees to back her up, except for the ones who are also pushing her same agenda and just parroting whatever she says, like Keith Price and Michael Smith, you know, those guys. And I think that's one of the major reasons why people don't want to go to her events, because all of this negativity that she spews, while at the same time trying to make it sound positive. Lady, it's obviously negative energy that you're putting out there. That's why some people who might be on the fence about her probably don't even want to deal with these events, because she's there. She's going to be, you know, smiling in people's faces and thanking them for coming. But at the same time, she disses people for going to her events. She disses people for getting the help that she always advertises about. And I'm not saying that just to say that. Let me give a couple of examples. One is when she was giving a food box giveaway and she called out somebody in line for actually being there to get the help they needed.
You got people like myself that care about community that people try to stop. Throughout all the controversy, throughout all the drama, all the naysayers, all the haters. And I see some of y'all in the line. Let me flip the camera around so you can see them in the line. Whoop, there she go. Look, right there, right there. Whoop, that part. But they'll tell you that. Then they get in a little hate group. But you in my line getting food.
And then another one is of when a former trustee, Valeria Stubbs, got snowed in a little bit and she couldn't get really out of her driveway. And Tiffany showed up to help her out. I wouldn't really call it help. Let me go ahead and play the clip for you guys and then we'll discuss it.
Tiffany Henyard. And this is what it looks like when you pull up on your haters. Yeah. Let me show you what I'm about to do. See this? Everyone needs help. Just remember that. Watch how you treat people, because you never know when you need the help, okay? But guess what? I am there for all my haters. It doesn't matter, because I'm the mayor of all of Dolton. The good, the bad, the ugly, and even the hateful. I am your mayor. So, here we go. Let's go. Got my crew. See this? Look, we're gonna go and help. No problem. I'm like, oh, you called me? Oh, no. Hey, same to you. We have Valerie Stubbs, look. And I'm helping her get out of her garage. So she needs help to get out of her alley. See, I'm here. I'm here to help you no matter what and how you treat me. I'm still here. Front and center. Front and center. I saw what I was doing to come and help. So don't forget, I help everyone. It doesn't matter what you do or say about me. I'm gonna pull up and I'm gonna show out and I'm gonna make sure you're safe. All right? Safety is my top priority.
So you guys, it's obvious that safety is not her top priority. Her top priority is clapping back at her so-called haters and trying to demean people over social media for services that the village of Dolton provides. And yet she's going out there making a whole video saying, see, I'm there. I'm here to do your driveway and shovel. She's not even shoveling, first of all. She's videotaping the whole thing and she's bragging about it. She's taking credit for things that are supposed to be free for the citizens and the citizens in need. This is some of the most despicable behavior that I have seen. And it really shows you the narcissism of Tiffany Henyard and why she does not need to be in a leadership position. The really messed up thing about this clip is that she actually reposted this up on her Facebook page like it was a good look. Okay. This was an old clip and she reposted it. I think it was like a month ago. Like she was proud of it. So that just kind of shows you her headspace, her really messed up headspace, okay? So you guys, I'm going to leave you with this. If you are a supporter of Tiffany Henyard, it's more than likely you're benefiting from it. It's not because you look at this person and say, oh, this is a very caring, morally stable, respectful human being who treats others with respect as well. That is not what you're thinking. You're probably working for her, or you're working for the village of Dolton or Thornton Township, and you want to keep your job, which is reasonable, okay? Or you're right there in the midst of it all, and you're stuck there with her because you've done some dirt as well. That's at least my opinion and how I see it. It's not because she's an upstanding citizen. It's not because she treats people with respect. It's not because she portrays herself as a decent human being who cares about people. She talks that a lot, but actions speak louder than words, okay? Yes, she goes out, she does things. It's literally her job, okay? As a supervisor and as a mayor, you have to go out and you have to do events. You have to be involved in the community. Otherwise, it's going to be like, what's going on with the mayor? Who's the mayor? Why are they the mayor? So yes, she gets up, she gets involved. That's her job. So congratulations, I guess, for doing your job. Basically, if you're in support and you re-vote in someone who was obviously lacking tremendously in leadership skills back into a mayor position, or actually vote them in this time for a supervisor position, you're not really accepting who they're blatantly telling you who they are. You want to believe that they're better because they've quote unquote made history as being the first black youngest woman, blah, 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 blah. Okay. How many times have we heard it? You want that dream to be real. But in this case, everything went totally sideways when she got into her positions of power. And she has put a bad stain on both Dolton and Thornton Township. Well, you guys, that's going to be it for today. Let me know how you felt about the video, how you felt about reading Robert. And let me know how you felt about the way Tiffany puts people on blast if they're not a supporter of hers, if they need help. Also, what do you think about the image ordinance that Carmen brought up? Do you feel that since the former supervisor had his name on things, that the way Tiffany's doing it is okay and they should just let it go? Let me know down in the comments. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.
You got people like myself that care about community that people try to stop. Throughout all the controversy, throughout all the drama, all the naysayers, all the haters. And I see some of y'all in the line. Let me flip the camera around so you can see them in the line. Whoop, there she go. Look, right there, right there. Whoop, that part. But they'll tell you that. Then they get in a little hate group. But you in my line getting food.
The kids are our future. We'll never ever forget that. So we need to make sure that we all remember that these kids are our future. We have to make sure that we show them the right way. Not just tell them the right way, but we have to act the right way, because no matter what we say, when we were all growing up, whatever our mom and dad said, we paid more attention to what they did than what they told us to do.